2024 is coming to a close, and with that, I figured I'd make a wrap-up video, just like every other person on YouTube. This video is going to be a little more informal than the videos I usually do. It's going to be far less structured, and it's just going to be me sharing my thoughts about the year and how things went. I wanted to make this video as a summarization of the year, a place I can put my thoughts, a place where I could sit down and take a look back, in a couple of years and say what this year was like, what did I do, how did things go. I also want to talk about what I think of the state of mountain biking and the state of mountain bike YouTube specifically. I've got a lot of thoughts on that, and I've never really had a chance to sit down and talk about that. I always say in my videos, if you've watched any of them, that I'm just a guy, and I truly believe that. I don't think my opinion's any better than yours or the next person's, but I just want to get some thoughts out there. I want to talk about how the year went, what the future might look like, and hopefully you stick around. So 2024, what was I happy about? What was the theme of the year? And I think the theme of the year, like most people's, it was progression. I came into this year just looking to get better, not huge improvements, but just looking to be better as a rider. For those of you familiar with Mountain Creek, I know that's mostly where a lot of the views on the videos I get are stuff I post from Mountain Creek, because that is my local bike park. I wanted to ride 99, and I wanted to do the Asylum Rock Roll. That was my big bucket list, those two things. And within, I would say, maybe a month, I checked those off. And it wasn't just me; it was a lot of people helping me out, helping me get to that point. And I'll do my thank yous later on. I mean, you know who you are. So I just, things slowly but surely became, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we do this? And it turned out I was a little bit better at this than I thought. People who know me, I have a background in bikes. I used to race BMX when I was younger, probably when I was 7 or 8. I can't even remember. I'm 32 now, and I only picked up mountain biking at the age of 29. I came into this year just being content with doing the norm, going to the normal places, and nothing crazy. But slowly but surely, it became a, hey, why don't we try this double black trail? Or hey, let's try to clear the top section of Tempest. Like, why don't we take you off this drop? Why don't we take you off Pipeline? And I just never thought I would get to that point, and there's a lot of people who helped me get there, and I look back and I'm just stunned. Just within the 2 years of going to Creek, it feels like I know the place like the back of my hand, and there's not much stuff there that I haven't seen or done. What else is crazy is I came into this season, and I thankfully was able to get myself a sponsorship. Nothing massive, like I'm not being sponsored by Maxxis or anything like that, but Hero Dirt Apparel took a chance on me and sent me some free stuff and has allowed me to rep their brand, and couldn't be more thankful for that. As I always say, I'm just a guy, and I don't think my opinion or my writing or anything is better than anybody else's. I truly believe in being humble, and I truly believe in treating others the way you want to be treated, as corny as that sounds. But I couldn't be more thankful for that, and I've really had a great partnership with them, and we've spoken, and hopefully, in the future, it continues to grow, and I hope that brand grows, because they're very honest people, and I really like them. Throughout the year, I think the not just going to Creek, I really enjoyed all the places that I went. I went to Mount Penn. I went to Trexler. I went out to Norbrook. I went upstate to some secret trails in the Adirondacks that I know. And I it's just fun. I know going to the bike park is great, but one of the things that I really enjoyed was being able to travel all over the place and see parts of the Northeast that I really haven't, and get to spend times in those areas and just kind of get away from home for a little bit. Lastly, I guess in this like summarization section of the video is I'm really proud of the Discord community that I built. It sort of started off as being just like a group chat for a couple people that I rode with, and it slowly has morphed into kind of a forum for local mountain bikers, and I couldn't be more proud of that. I'm going to get more into that in the next section, but I think it has somewhere up. We started the year with I want to say 3 or 4, and now I think we're up to 30 something with just people we've rode with, and I've made some great friendships out of that, and I want to thank everybody in the next section of this video. When I first started riding, I was kind of doing more just solo rides. I didn't know anybody else who rode, and I occasionally would run into somebody on the trail and we would ride together, but it was kind of a one and done, and I wasn't the best rider, so usually those people kind of went their separate ways, and I don't blame them. But this year for me, one of the most amazing things is all the great people that I've come to meet and be with. Last year I ran into Andre, Pete, and Jake, and those guys have been, just fantastic to me. Andre, Pete have been, rode with me all year, Jake a couple times, but Andre and Pete especially, they've just been, they've been like riding mentors to me. I know Pete's 10 years my senior and Andre's 10 years my junior, but I honestly don't think I would be the rider I am today without those two, because they made it fun. They made it more fun than it is. They made me want to go to Mountain Creek and get better and push myself, and they were willing to show me what I'm doing wrong and be patient with me, because I'll be honest, I'm a bit of an overthinker, and I've said it in a video before, I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I think too much, and they have found a way to get to me and teach me how to do things, and be patient, and when I do them, they just they make you feel like you really accomplished something, and I can't thank those two enough, and Jake as well. I know he wasn't around as much this year, but Jake makes it fun. He always does. This year, all these next people that I'm going to talk about, I didn't even know until this year, and I now consider them to be very close friends or friends, or I want to highlight specifically Dylan, Devin, JT, Chris, and Brad. Those guys, we sort of added them to our group, and we talk almost every day in Discord. Devin has been, a great mentor to all of us. He pushes us. He's highly skilled, and I think a lot of us want to be there, want to be at that level, and he's very patient, and he's willing to show you and walk you through, and more than anything, he's willing to be, a good teacher. Not everybody can do that, and he can. JT is somebody that kind of came into the group. He watched my videos on YouTube, which is wild to me that anybody would even want to do that. And he's great because he's just always down. He's always down to do whatever. Like, he's always down to ride. He doesn't care if he drives. He's so laid back, and he's just a fun guy to be around. He's always laughing, always smiling. The same thing with Dylan. Like, Dylan's always down to do whatever. Hey, let me show you this. Let's try this. And he's always laughing. He's always got a smile on his face, and he's always, willing to talk to you and do. He told me he would have painted my helmet for basically no money, and anybody who's willing to do that for a friend, I can't thank enough. Brad as well. Brad is actually the first guy I ever rode with, and we've stayed in touch, and he's always just one of the most chill dudes, and he's always just happy to be there, and he's always, I feel bad sometimes we push him a little too hard, but I always like him being there and just, you know, being the kind of calming presence in the room and always being down for whatever. And Chris as well. Chris has become a really tight friend. You know, I met him at the bike shop down the road, and I just kind of want to share a story of, I had a really bad week at work, and I went out for a ride, and my dropper post broke in the middle of the ride, and I was all pissed. And I put it in our group chat and in the Discord, and he said, hey, come to the shop. And he gave me a dropper post and installed it for free, because he said, I want my friend to have this. I'm not using it. And that really took me back. You know, that was like, wow, that's a really, really good guy. Like, I can't thank him enough for that. And and he's been somebody that I followed into big features, somebody I trust, and somebody who's been patient with me. Also, a couple people I met this year who I really want to talk about are Sage and Dan. Sage is from Trail Sage, and Dan is, I want to say he runs, but him and Sage both do it, the Ride and Laugh podcast. I met those guys passing at Creek, and they've been so nice to me. They've really supported me in my channel and in my journey. Like I've always said, I'm just a guy, but especially Sage, he's been, like I've said it before, he's been like my YouTube dad, and anything I need, I can bounce off of him, you know, and he's willing to listen, and they're both willing to be honest, and which I appreciate. I enjoy being gassed up just like the next guy, but they're willing to be like, hey, why don't you try this? Why don't you do this? And I really appreciate that. You know, I want to say they're about 10, 15 years my senior, and I'm just a guy. They barely know me, but they take the time out of their day to talk to me, help me grow as a person, and I really appreciate that. Next, I'd like to talk about mountain biking trends, specifically geared towards YouTube. This year, it's been strange. I've seen a lot of things happen in the YouTube space for mountain biking, and I kind of want to give my thoughts about them. I kind of just want to put it out there. I'm just a guy. These are just my thoughts, and I've never really had a chance to really share them. I think YouTube in general is kind of going the way of the dodo, unfortunately. It's a platform that I love. It's a platform that I've been on since 2006, you know, watching original Machinima videos with Mr. Sark and C-Nanners and Hutch. And now I'm putting stuff out there, and I've seen this year a lot of the content switch towards short form stuff, you know, TikTok and Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts, and I kind of don't like that. I do them. I don't do a lot of them. I kind of don't want to follow the trend, as corny as that sounds, as cliche as that sounds. The way I ride and the things that I like to ride aren't really that eye-catchy, and I can't put together a short of me doing some 40-foot gap jump to grab your attention. I'm just not capable of that, and I put out some stuff to advertise videos that I put a lot of work into, and every now and then if I get a cool little edit, I'll throw it up there. It kind of stinks because I've seen two big channels die out this year. Mahalo My Dude, which is one I'm not super familiar with, but I know that they've been around for forever, and I know they're OGs when it comes to the mountain bike YouTube game. But the big one for me was BCPOV. Eric there, I've said this before, I've said this to people I know. If I hadn't stumbled upon his video, I probably wouldn't be riding today. Maybe I would have, but his insight to mountain biking is sort of what got me into, planted the seed of riding, and it stinks. I'm not him. I'm not in his head. I don't know why, but I think it's really hard to make a living doing YouTube, specifically. Something that I saw is either Dangerous Dave say that it's just not enough to, slap a camera on and post, POV ride footage and make money off that or expect to grow, because anybody can do that now. It's pretty accessible, and it really struck a chord with me, because for a while that's kind of all I was doing, and wondering why my channel didn't grow. And it's because I'm a slightly above average rider, posting videos of trails in the Northeast that aren't exactly destination trails, and adding nothing to them. And it kind of stinks. It kind of stunk to realize, but I really want to highlight the fact that I think more now than ever, with the way the YouTube algorithm gods work, and the way that the platform is just set up in general, you see guys like Sam Pilgrim, who I love. It's more personality driven, but doing wacky things, and which is fun. It's entertainment. And then you see guys like Berm Peak have to do reviews on bikes or do weird quirky things, and guys like Dangerous Dave and Dale Stone. Those guys are doing these big reviews of brakes and mountain bike parts, and it kind of stinks, but that's like kind of what pays the bills. And I get it, especially if you're trying to make money doing this. I've said for the longest time that my goal was to make just be able to throw ads on my videos. That was the plan. And it's just, I'm kind of having that realization that I missed the gold rush. It's like a stock. Like, if you've heard of that stock, it's probably a little too late. I'm not saying that I couldn't get to that point, but it's going to take a lot longer. I really do want to highlight that I think more than ever, I think it's really, really important to support small creators. And I'm not just saying that because I am one, and there's millions and millions and billions of other people. But in this space, I really want to highlight a couple people who I really enjoy this year, and I think are really worth your time. Trail Sage, and I'm going to throw him in with his podcast, and him and Dan's podcast, the Ride and Laugh podcast. I look forward to that podcast coming out every week. I save it for my ride home. I believe it's on Wednesday when it comes out, or Tuesday. I can't remember, forgive me. But they're just two of the nicest guys, and they've been, and Sage's riding and Dan's riding is fantastic. Sage's channel, Trail Sage, it makes some really insightful videos, and he's got such a good personality, and he's able to speak and be articulate on a bike like nobody I've ever seen before. And the podcast is just, it feels like it's just you and your buddies, as they say, in the parking lot talking after a ride. And I love it. I think I really hope those guys continue to do that podcast, because I do genuinely enjoy it, and I know a lot of people who do. Next is Pedaling Downhill. Corey's been a really cool guy. We've spoken a few times. I've never met, but we sort of linked up and had bonded over the closing of Wyndham Bike Park thing. And if you need to know anything about Thunder Mountain Bike Park, he's your guy. His videos are really well edited, and you can tell he really cares. And it's nice to see a rider who has a similar riding style to mine, a similar skill level, and watch him progress. I think that's awesome, because it just feels like me, but over at Thunder, and I really do appreciate that. Slanted Ground is another one. I've spoken to him a couple times, and his tutorial videos are just so good. They're just so unbelievably good. He's a great teacher, and a lot of his videos are blowing up, and he's having a lot of success because he's able to break things down and show you, and his editing style, like, I've never seen that. I think anybody can make a video to say, oh yeah, just compress your legs. It's like, well, okay, like, I get that, but like, what am I doing wrong? Can you show me? And if you're having a hang up on something or progressing as a rider, his channel's a good place to start. Venture is, Evan was one of the first YouTube channels for mountain biking I followed. It's been really cool to see him, kind of grow through his channel and, go, when I first saw him, I believe he was still in college, and now he's out. And I've never met him, but we've spoken a bunch of times, and he's been a big supporter of my channel as well. And I hope one day we do get to ride, but I love the fact that he rides places that maybe aren't mountain bike destinations, and it's like, well, that place looks pretty cool, let me go there. And a lot of his voiceover work is just so top notch, and it really inspired me to sort of take the next step and put myself out there a little bit more. And honestly, it feels like you're just talking to your buddy when you listen to his videos. MTB Corbin is another one. I've spoken to him, and I sent him a message one time on Instagram, and he sent me this really long answer. I was like, hey, I love your videos, and I really like your style. Like, what can I do? You're a smaller creator. I'd like to get to where you are. And he took the time out of the day to speak to me, and he doesn't know me from a hole in the wall. And I love that, and I couldn't be more thankful. And he lives in the PNW, and I'm just blown away by how good of a rider he is, and how amazing his editing is, and how likable of a guy he is. And I don't know. I'm so grateful that he took the time in his day to talk to just a random person like me and give me tips. Downhill Will is another one. He's a younger guy, and he's a fantastic rider that goes all over the Northeast bike parks, and has such an infectious personality, and he has the riding to match. And it's just been so cool to see him check off features that I would never ever even think about doing. So if any of that sounds good to you, please go support them. We don't make a lot of money, if any at all. It's a passion project, and I think the people I mentioned are more than worth your time. So what's the plans for the future? Well, if you've made it this far, I can't thank you enough. I really do. I think the future for me is this might be the last big YouTube video I do. I really enjoy editing. I really enjoy riding, but I don't really like playing the YouTube game. I found myself while riding wondering, what can I do to make a cool short? And I don't really like the idea of taking a day-long ride and clipping it into a 30-second clip. I don't like it. I enjoy doing videos. Like I said, I like editing. I enjoy riding and having an ability to look back. I'm not gonna say that the channel will end. That's not where I'm going with that. I will post videos, but how many Mountain Creek videos can I post? How many voiceover lists can I do? It feels dishonest to me. It feels like, I feel like, I'm trying to do what other people like instead of what I want to do. I started off doing podcasts back in 2012 with my buddy Bruce, and slowly but surely it just became a really saturated market, and that's kind of what YouTube has become. And even in the mountain bike little niche corner of YouTube, it's such a saturated market. Every now and then I might get the creative itch and make a video talking about, if I do a trip to Thunder or something, doing a video giving my thoughts on that. But for me, I just want to be honest with myself. I don't want to play the game of, what's the next trend? Is everybody liking this? And I don't want to be like a TikToker or anything like that. That's not what I'm here for. I just want to be somebody who posts raw POV footage and supports all the people who are chasing their goals and doing what they want. And to me, I think I want to humanize mountain biking again. I want to feel like when I'm in the woods because I want to get lost and I want to blow off some steam, not create content for the internet. I don't have much of an audience, and maybe some people will watch this, and I'm really thankful for that. I really am. I thank everybody, on who's helped me along the way and who knows, maybe in the future I'll have a change of heart, or, when I get the creative itch, I'm like, oh yeah, man, I just went to Thunder. Let me rank some trails. Maybe I'll do it, but I just want to get back to the roots. I really do. And I don't want anybody listening to this who does this to, feel like I'm criticizing them, because I'm not. This is just a me thing. Whatever makes you happy, whatever scratches your itch, I will support you no matter what. But for me, I want to be honest with myself, and I'd rather spend a good day with two of my buddies being in the moment instead of trying to appease a crowd of internet folks I'll never meet. So right at this point, YouTube is just going to become, more of like a digital diary for me. And that's probably the big news going forward. On a personal, more happy note, I'm looking forward to a bunch of trips. Me and the guys are going to try to go to Bromont. It might be an impromptu sort of bachelor party. Hopefully I get, we're not sure. We're looking to maybe me and my fiance are looking to get married in later next year. It might be a little longer than that, but who knows? I'm looking to finally get into Killington, into Thunder, and a couple of the people who have watched my videos religiously, I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to riding with you. Like, me and Sage have gone back and forth, like, dude, we got to get together for a ride, and I can't wait for that. I absolutely cannot wait for that. And I'm looking forward to continue to getting better at riding. I know I'm never going to be competing for Rampage, but it'll be cool to clear some bigger jumps and, push myself. And I want to race at some point, whether it be the Eastern State Cup or continue to just do it in Thursday Night Race League, but be more consistent about it. That to me is a focus. This year, I found out I've had scoliosis that has gone undiagnosed, and I want to prove to myself that I'm not that diagnosis. Like, yeah, it might be tough at some times, but you are unlimited, as Dan likes to say. I'm bigger than the sum of the parts. So if you've made it this far, I really want to thank you. Let me know what you think. Anybody else, smaller creators that I missed, or put their link in the comments. I would love to see them. And and again, I'm just so thankful that I got to meet some of you along the way, and I look forward to meeting more of you along the way, and I look forward to what 2025 can bring. So with that being said, go out and ride some.